Okay, well, I'm back. Work sort of got in the way of the progress here. Hate it when that happens, but sometimes it does. But I've got a few minutes here, so I'm just doing a little bit more work on fitting this. I did manage to pick up these knockdown bolts that I'm going to be using. Right now I'm just fitting the square edge on the mortise so the tenon will fit in. On this end I don't need to, because there's going to be a front piece on the router table that covers that up, so I'm not going to worry about it. And cut the radius is square. I just used a 1/2 inch sharp chisel. The way I'm going to mark out these knockdown bolt holes is I've taken my square here and I've marked in 2 inches from the edge. I've marked the line, and there you can just see it there. And I've made this little block of key stock here. That's going to sit in the groove, and I've got a 1/16 hole through there. So what I'm going to do is just drill down with this 1/16 bit, which is going to poke through the other side. And let me put the side in and I'll just get back here. Right, so with the side in and the 1/16 hole already drilled through the bottom, I'll go back from the bottom and drill this way a little bit into the side, and that'll mark where those two holes meet. And then what I can do is pretend this is the other side here. I'll have a 1/16 hole here, and then I just made a little jig here because I'm going to be doing it by hand. This thing will just go on, and I made a little bushing there and a pilot, so that'll line up with the 1/16 hole, and then I'll be able to drill my 1/4 inch hole for the knockdown bolt, and I'll just mark where this cross dowel goes. The cross dowel is a little bit offset, so you kind of drill a blind hole. He ends up drilling a blind hole in the plywood. Probably can't see that very well. Yeah, you drill a blind hole and it's flush on one side and you don't see the other side of it, and that'll just go in there. I'll just mark that with my marking tool here. So yeah, it's a little bit tedious, but it kind of works pretty good. These bolts grab pretty good and you can snugger down pretty good, and the nice thing is I'll be able to take it apart with my limited storage space available. Anyways, I'll do a little bit on that, and I'll show you where I get to. Okay, well that worked pretty good. So that key stock helps keep the bit straight and keeps them all in the middle. So that gives me a good mark on the other side. We can see them all. Therefore, we know where those are going to sit. So I'm just going to put the sides on here and we'll get back. Well, we're starting to get the first look at this thing now. Yeah, it seems like it goes together pretty good. What I'll do now is I'll go in and through those 1/16 holes, like I was explaining, we'll go down and we'll drill into the sides to mark where they meet with the sides. And then after we do that on the top and on the bottom, we'll have the holes marked in the sides with the little pilot bit there. And then what we'll do is we'll chuck these we'll set these top and bottom pieces in the drill press, and you can see these metric knockdown bolts. They've got a pretty flat head on them. We'll just go in with an 11/16 Forstner bit. Unfortunately, like I said, I had to make a concession that I'm going to have a couple small holes in the top, but these will sit below the surface, just below the surface, and shouldn't hurt routing, but like I said, I want to be able to take it apart, so just gonna have to live with it. So yeah, so that's where we're at. Well, I've got the 11/16 Forstner bit in the drill press here. I'm just drilling down first of all, just so when the knockdown bolt goes in, it's going to be flush with the bottom here. There's in the front of this drill press here, there's a depth adjustment. I was wondering why it wasn't working, but someone had wound this thing all the way off, so it was gone. So the usual story, have to fix it, then use it, but for a minute there I thought I could go through the whole day without fixing something, but nope. Anyways, I'm going to drill the rest of these and I'll get the top in there. Well, I'm at the part where I'm not that crazy about, but like I said, if I want it to knock down, I'm going to have to do it. So there's my little pilot holes that I drilled previously. That's going to be the center of the bolt. We'll just catch the pilot on the Forstner bit. Just going to show you this drill press. It's kind of cool. Instead of having to wind it all the way down, you can just kind of snap the handle and it'll stay there. It's actually got a feed here, but with the feed off, it's kind of handy for just holding the handle there, so you don't have to wind it every time. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and drill these counter holes, and then we'll go to the next step. The word of caution here, I had the stop set on the bottom piece, which doesn't have the arborite on it, so obviously the top's a little bit thicker, but my spider senses were tingling, so I didn't go down as far as the stop, so I'm still okay. I mean, it wouldn't hurt anything, but I want them as flush as possible and not sticking up. We definitely don't want them sticking up. Well, I got that done, and now all I have to do is drill through. I'm going to use this tapered 1/4 inch bit because it just really finds the center nicely. I mean, a guy could use this brad point, but the point on the brad point isn't going to find the center as well, so we're going to use that guy there. That'll be the answer. So I can drill my 1/4 inch holes, and then we'll go to the next step. Okay, so I've got my little pilot hole from where I drilled with the key stock, and then I've got to draw a line from the middle of that down the, well, not quite the length of the bolt, and then I've got to drill in with a 3/8 Forstner bit for this cross dowel that's threaded to go in. So I use this Veritas, sold by Lee Valley. Works really good, so I just put it up against it here, so I was at the center of the hole, more or less, and then go from the end and draw a line down. Pretty simple. Worked pretty good. And then I'll just go in from the top, and I'll mark where I want that cross dowel to go. Okay, so once I get all those bed bolt nuts, knockdown hardware holes drilled, I go in with my little jig that I made, and I've got my pointed 1/4 inch and then I start it down here in the hole, which it is, and then slide the jig down and I'll drill. So that's what keeps that hole straight.